All right, but yeah, like
Yeah, you good now.
all right, what we was talking about was elite. What makes players elite? And like I said earlier, it's kind of hard for me to classify a player as elite according to the video game, just because you got different ways of people winning. But like Corey said, I don't want to take his segment, but like he said, it is a handful of people that you know that when you see them on the schedule that week, you know they're gonna bring their A game, and no matter what, it's gonna be a fight. And hopefully, you can just hang in there. And there is a lot of elite players in the league. I think it's a different type of, as far as gameplay and user skills. I think we got a bunch of elite. I would say elite, if that's what we want to call it, comparative to other leagues and other users I done came across. There is a lot of great players in the league, and looking at the history of the league, I mean, it looks like we got a lot of the same guys that's winning bowls and um, year in and year out. This is just my first year with the league, but my first Madden with the league. But yeah, I mean, I think we got great user skills. We got great concepts to the league. Um, Handful of elite players, handful of teams you fear, and then you got teams that you fear Madden on. I mean, Madden may show up during the game, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
That's a
So,
great point. That's a great point that you bring up because Corey brought up an interesting point about how you treat certain players. Like from my perspective, I don't necessarily think that's an easy win in any respect because
right,
especially when you get in your division games. Like prime example, last night I'm thinking that I was going pretty easy roll with the Raiders, but when I say it was sweatbox in the second half, like I'm up 21-0 and it was 24-17 before I blinked. So
right,
people started to certain things started to work for them. They get going, and next thing you know, you in a tight game. So, like you said, Madden rears its ugly head sometimes. Some crazy interception happens, some weird fumble happens, some weird sack fumble happens, and guess what? It's a game now. So it ain't no runaways no more. I mean, you see, it's very rare unless the Vikings versus the Panthers. We're not gonna talk about that 68-point game you put up on them earlier. But it's one of those things where you don't really know. It's not a situation where you can walk in and be like, oh, I'm gonna run over this dude. I'm just gonna play for XP and get my stats up and stuff like that. You gotta really
right.
put a cat away before you really feel like comfortable. Game gonna be over. But yeah, so all right, we're gonna move back over to Corey real quick. We'll try to reiterate what he was saying so we get that on record. Now the sound is good. Apologize, yeah,
Yeah,
fellas.
fellas.
I'm working with a new mixer here,
So
so I'm working out the kinks.
yeah, man, my perspective on league, piggybacking off of Los, man, is you got some guys in the league that you're gonna, not to say take more serious, I should say, but you're gonna come in with your A game, man. Like I pointed out, I think I gave like about a five man about a I think I started off with MDC. When he and I play, man, it's stressful. It's
Absolutely.
we juggernauts. We go at it, man. We boys afterwards, but man, in the trenches, man, we be ready to cuss each other out.
Bro,
And
we don't even talk till game is over.
Jarrell, dude, for real, man, we be
Yeah,
heated, bro.
yeah, be heated.
And then we got Jarrell. Jarrell's always been consistent, man. He comes out the box though, like he the first one to win a bowl consecutively, like each Madden, comes out the box just busting ass, man. And then from there, we have Kevin. Kevin's been way consistent, man. Kevin's the beast. I respect him like no other, man. He plays the game straight up. We got Jokey. Jokey's a beast in the division, man. I respect his game. He knows what he's doing. And like I said, man, honorable mention is Tayo, man. Tayo is bona fide, and you could look at the records, man. This dude has kind of paved the way for a lot of us, man. He don't put in the time like he used to, but I do enjoy that he's still a part of the league and definitely keeps it going. But yeah, man, I mean, I think the guys I named have been in the league for a little bit of time. I mean, they're some of the pioneers. And you have like I said, Theron, man. Theron came in hard. First year, got a bowl under his belt, man. He took them skins and did his thing. So, my man's on his way, man. And I respect everybody else too, man. Like Lois got his going, and 5 always get it going. So yeah, we gonna get it right, man. I mean, but that's my elite when it comes down to like having the definition of it, man.
Okay. All right, so let's start with Fresh. We're gonna go to Coach next. We're gonna go to Coach next. See what his perspective is on it.
Man, like Lo said, seeing somebody's elite, that's pretty tough because, especially based off of this Madden, I feel like this has been one of the most flawed Maddens I've ever played in my life. It is certain people that you got to have your head on right every time you play them, but in general, I think the thing that makes somebody elite is adaptability. With so many patches and little things, like things that you notice that happen to the game even without a patch, like like the pass interference rules and stuff like that. I think somebody that's able to adapt to the game and be able to still be able to run whatever scheme they might have, no matter whatever type of flaws are in the game. Like Kevin, for example, like whenever he won the ball, I called pass God, man. He can pass regardless. So when people can't pass, he's still passing. When you start running the ball, 30 times a game, he's still passing. That's what he do. And he's mad good at it. So elite players, everybody's good in their own right. I feel like we got a lot of good players in this league. Certain people I feel rely more on, attributes. I think to make somebody elite, you have to be able to. I can go get the sorriest team and hang with anybody, just because of my football acumen and my football knowledge. It's a lot of things that go on in the game that, somebody that runs the ball 30 times a game, me, myself, I consider myself a football head. So I know in a real game, I know how to stop the run. But if I got a 99 lineman edge rusher, then I put him in the contain and he fails to contain, and next thing you know, this dude's off to the races for 89 yards. How's that my fault?
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you.
It's just it just depends, but I think the biggest thing is adaptability. I feel like individuals that can adapt to the game, no matter what type of flaws it might be. I have a hard time adapting. That's why I started off hot, and now I'm hot trash right now. But it is what it is. So that's my
Coach. Coach, wow.
Coach is wild. Coach is wild. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say you're hot trash. I wouldn't give you that title, but because you're still in a playoff contender every season. Like, you and KC battle out for the division every year. So it's not.
Y'all can say it, man. It's good.
Hey man, listen, I'll let you be your hardest critic.
DK Metcalf, that's all. It's calling your ass DK Metcalf. That's
crazy,
all you want to be.
Crazy. Yeah, but like I said, I think him and KC battled out for the division every year, so it's not a situation where he just absolute trash. Yep. I mean, he did make it to a Super Bowl or 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's one of those things where you always there at the end. Like you may or may not make the playoffs, but you always there. It's not a situation where I just know coaching to go. I'm gonna walk over him, just like I was telling Los earlier. People, certain people you just know you can't walk over. You just can't put up 70 points on these cats. And it says it is what it is. And I think that going back to what Coach and Los were alluding to, adaptability, that applies across Maddens. It's a situation where, can you adapt to not only one Madden but several? How can you be elite or be dominant in multiple platform games? Can you be elite in 20 and 19 and 18 and 17 and so forth and so on? So that matters too. I guess you say the longer you're able to play the game at a high level makes you in the upper echelon to me as well. All right, so let's move over to 5 there so we can wrap this topic up.
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right.
Yo.
What makes a player elite? To me personally, if to be considered an elite player in Madden, you're not surprised when they beat anyone,
That's a good point.
right?
That's a good point.
So
Great point.
that's kind of it. You know, it's a lot of you guys have brought up great points, but to me personally, if you get whooped or you beat any person in any league in any year, no one is like raising eyebrows. You know what I mean? It's either okay, well, I lost to Corey, or you lost to five, or you know what? It's just it's that's what makes you elite. But all those things matter. What you guys said, adaptability, right? You got consistency with wins, but to me personally, Super Bowl titles don't make you elite. It makes you good for that year, right? But it has to be consistent, and it has to be year over year. But um, it's still an achievement, right? But you know, just adjusting to when the game changes and all of those things. But to me personally, that topic, to be considered elite, like when you go into a game with that person, um, you're not surprised if you. I mean, you're angry, but you're not surprised if you lost, right? You know, like I've been scraping cats for years. You feel me? And it's like that. I just had to throw that shot in there. Talk
Of
shit.
course, of
But
course.
nah, but it's for real though. You're not surprised. So like, I consider myself an elite player, even though I struggled all Madden. Because when I beat it, when I win against somebody, like you're not too surprised that I beat Proto, right? Or you're not too surprised that I beat you, or you're not too surprised that I beat this person or that person or any person, right? It's just like, damn, I lost. I lost to five. So it's like, which for me personally, I don't like to really speak on other people, so I'm gonna say me. Like, which five were you gonna get, right? Were you gonna
Mm-hmm.
get the five that is playing, you know what I mean, good football, or are you gonna get the five that get smoked, right? But either way, you know you're gonna win. And me and Kevin had a conversation maybe two Maddens ago, and I remember, or maybe last Madden, when the struggle we were in the league, and that's when things really started changing. Um, he's like, I don't really care what your record is. You know, I know when I come play you, it's going to be a game. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So, like that to me is an elite competitor, right? But then there's so many other factors that go into that. Like Lo said, like Coach said, there's like he's in the contained, person runs to the outside. You can't really do nothing. It's Madden, right? So, but hanging with the competition in the league consistently, and maintaining respect amongst the good people in the league,
Yeah.
really kind of keeps you consistently elite. Um, but it's a video game, so you're going to have aspects of video gameness in it. Like prior to everything being adjusted, it's hard to say because so many
Yeah.
different factors were weighing heavy
Can I give it the right stuff?
on people's success.
Mm. Hey, babe.
You feel me? So, yo, why you trying to take my shine? My
Cole,
brother.
Cole, mute your mic. Thank you,
Talking
thank
to
you,
the
thank you.
family.
You good now. You good now. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
I'm just playing. No, but it's just getting respect for the people that you look up to, or that people look up to.
Right.
That's just really consistently being elite. But again, so many other factors. Like everyone said, it's hard when. How can you even consider passing when you drop back and you get hit right when you hike the ball?
Right.
That's before that factor and all that stuff started coming into play.
Mm-hmm.
But if I think the only way you really can judge eliteness is if you strip the game down to bare bones, and you play, you know. And I like what Coach said. I'm not to take up too much time, but starting with a shitty team and making that team successful and being able to compete right out the gate.
Right.
That's picking up, that's stick skills you guys are talking about, right? Who has the best stick skills?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much of, you know, madness, but it's stick skills, and that's why I like where we're at today, because it shows more of the user skills and the players play to their ratings. So if that's kind of what the only way we're going to have it like it used to be.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think that plays a big factor into it as well. You know, I think all you guys make great points. I think all those points probably encompass the overall goal we're trying to reach about answering this question. You know, it does, you know, adaptability does matter. Stiff skills matter regardless of how the game is playing and what ability you may or may not have. You know, I think that what matters too is, you know, how you adjustments are key too. I don't know if I really touched on this part, but adjusting, to your opponents. Like, you might be okay, defensively, but if you're able to adapt to how your opponent's playing you, like say mid game, they're killing you with a certain play, and then all of a sudden you are able to figure out mid game how to shut that down and make them do something different. I think that matters too as far as being an elite player. Being a coach on the field. Kind of look.
Being able to use other different.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Not just using.
Really use their different positions.
Yeah, corner safeties, linebackers,
in all positions.
D-line and coverage and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly. An elite player is having a playbook given to you, offense and defense, and you still win it.
Right.
Like it's picking any playbook because you can execute. It's really execution and then being able to use their different positions.
I got you. Yeah, I think we all make good points. Corey, your mic, brother.
My mic?
Yeah, I can hear you. Everything you're doing, I can hear you.
My bad.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'll let you know when I'll call your name when we gonna go to you on the next topic. All right, but yeah, like I said, overall, I think everybody makes great points. I think that was definitely something to put underneath your hat if you're trying to figure out what does make a person a leader or not, and what your MFL legacy will be, from here on out. So wins matter, of course. Titles matter over multiple games. Just your overall adaptability, Madden to Madden, game to game, person to person. How well you play defense, how well you play offense. Can you balance your run and your pass? That's another thing too, especially with this Madden. Like if you're able to balance a decent run game with a good pass game, then that sets you apart from a lot of people, because a lot of people are able to do that because it's such a run heavy meta. And, passing has been challenging, to say the least, based upon how they patch the game. All right, so we're going to get into the next topic here. Let's see here. We'll do away with this topic and bring up the next one. All right, so piggybacking off of MNFL legacy and how the game is being played, the next topic on the board is simulation. What is sim to you when it comes to Madden? All right, I'm gonna start Coach off with this one because I want to hear his perspective first about how he feels what sim is in Madden.
So, sim to me in Madden is, you got to go back to like PS2 or something like that, because that's whenever you play Madden, people did what you did. Like it was, the animations and stuff were not heavily involved in that. So, even back to the point where to pick a ball off, have an interception, like the strafe button actually worked. Like it would actually put you in position to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never see people do that now. Like, it's like, hold wide. You hold it down too long. And even with the penalty they put in place for that, you still go into animations. It's like, you don't know what's going to happen nowadays. So, like you have to scale the game back to basically, just all the bases back then, like PS2 and stuff like that. You got to take all the animations out of the game. To me, Madden 20 was a game of animations. Madden 21 is going to be a game of animations. That's just what Madden is. It's like, how much further can they go with the game besides adding more and more animations? That's what people look forward to. That's what's going to sell. The one-handed catches, the Odell catches, the truck sticks and all that stuff like that. But somebody that's playing a sim league, it's difficult to actually play real football not knowing what the outcome is going to be, even though you put your players in a position to actually, succeed. I definitely think that, being able to, I have an argument with people about, sim versus competitive mode. And I've always argued that I think sim mode is basically what's best for franchise, because you actually have to build your players in a certain way. But even that process is flawed, with the X factors and things of that nature, because, you get, instead of getting like one breakout game a year for one person, you can get several. And next thing you know, you got a team full of X factors. So I think, sim mode doesn't exist anymore. It's hard to say that a mode is sim, even though they have it on there. It's not. There's no mode that is sim in Madden anymore. So my opinion on about it is it don't exist. But
wow. That's a hell of a perspective, Coach. I honestly, I wasn't sure what you were going to say, but I definitely didn't think you were going to say that. But hey, I mean, it's a good opinion. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree, but I was pleasantly shocked about your perspective on it. You know, and we've had multiple conversations about this, you know, in the front office and in the chat and amongst, you know, a lot of people that have been here a long time. And, you know, when they separated the modes, I mean, because remember back in the day, it used to be one mode, like it's, you know, it wasn't a separate, you know, isolation between sim and competitive, you know, but honestly and truly, the MUT community begged for that. And that's where we ended up because, you know, again, we go back to money and, you know, brass tacks about how that all ends out. But regardless, you know, sim mode was, you know, meant to have randomness in it, you know, and I think that's where they left it. Like they didn't make it tailor it exactly to be that particular aspect and being simulation football. They just said that we're gonna make it more random and more guesswork versus having a guaranteed win perspective or guaranteed outcomes when it comes to competitive mode, because that's what the competitive community was complaining about, having guaranteed outcomes. Like if I throw a pass, the guy's open, he should catch it. You know, regardless of the rain, regardless of the weather, regardless of the gloves, you know, because even pro athletes drop passes, you know, but they don't want to see that. They want to see a situation where he is a guaranteed win every single time. If I do something right, I want to be rewarded. And that's how they feel about a competitive mode. And sim mode is just a situation where they just added randomness to it versus having guaranteed wins. Like, you know, prime example when it comes to user catching this year for wide receivers, like you get a wide receiver can make a tough catch in traffic against 3 people, DK Metcalf, you know, just to bring his name up. But you know, we seen it in the top plays, but you know, but a person of his same caliber, you know, stat wise, you know, he might catch the same type of pass and get, you know, brushed against, and he drops the ball. You know, I mean, that's the randomness of it now. And it's not a one-to-one relationship when it comes to sim, but that's what happens in sim mode versus competitive mode. That's just a broad stroke of it. But yeah, definitely that was a great perspective. I'm glad we captured that on film, because I want to re-listen to that one. That was a good one. Appreciate that one, bro. Appreciate that one. All right, so let's go to 5 this time. Let's try 5 on his perspective this time.
I think they tried with sim mode, right? But I think sim mode is built towards abilities, and I think I love the idea of what they were trying to do, right? You know, make it more realistic. If it's snowing, you know what I mean? If it's coming down, you can't throw these crazy passes because players are going to slip on their routes. But I also think that it's too much in it, right? Like it has too much of a factor in the game. Now, like rewarding players or rewarding coaches and users for doing certain things, like punting on 4th down. You know, like the game is set up to, let's just take it back to, you know, outside the league. But let's, you know, if you do little stupid shit, sim mode will kind of penalize you for doing that, right? So you're going to throw a pick after you convert a 4th down or going for a 4th and 50. So I get where they want to go with it, but also I also think it still has some brokenness to it, because like don't affect the game in a way that doesn't make any sense. You know, when you try to do too much with something, you know, you may have a couple of things that work, but you're also going to have a few things that just don't, right? So simulation, and that's why I'm a big fan of just stripping it, right? Because when you try to add all these little features to affect play outcomes, like it won't allow you to. So like, let's say you go into simulation mode is this. Let's say you start off next season with the 49ers, and then the other person starts off with the Jets. It don't matter how nice that person is, you know what I mean? Just to try to compete with the 49ers, he could be calling all the right plays, is better on the sticks, but the game flow won't allow that person to get ahead, because the 49ers are a better team. And they should be better. So that's what simulation mode is trying to capture. It's trying to capture authentic football, right? So that's very hard to do. So the only way that we can reach this goal is to strip it, right? And I'm not saying competitive is better, but competitive, look at the name, right? We played on competitive forever. Madden was competitive prior to simulation, right? And I like what they're trying to do with simulation. I see where they're going. I want people to punt on 4th and 50 or 4th and, you know what I mean, 20. Like, I want you to do those things, but don't go down the game. Don't go down the line just because this person has the last Super Bowl winner and discredit the player that's actually a better user.
Mm-hmm.
So competitive gives you the userness. It's almost like X Factor simulation. You know what I mean? Competitiveness, no X Factor. And it's you have to strip it to get where all of us are trying to get to. Otherwise, you're going to complain about these animations and all this, and you still have it, right? You still have it in what we got going on now, but it's not as often. Like I like simulation mode. I even like X Factor where they trying to get to, but it gets to be too much because players just can't compete out the box, right? And that player could take a shitty team because they may be a fan of that team. Like the Jets is going to be horrible, fam. You right? But they're gonna have a million draft picks.
Right.
Let you get the Jets, and then somebody get another team. They're gonna beat you, bro. And that's because of simulation. Because simulation is going to allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you have to put words in there like allow, like abilities, shit like that, that's where you're taking the game out of the user's hands. And I'm not a fan of none of that. I want me to you to sit down old school, put your stick, you grab your controller, I grab my controller, nigga, and we who better.
Right.
You feel me? And it's nothing to do with this person has this pass rush ability, and simulation is going to give Joey Bosa the edge every time. They're going to give these elite Aaron Donalds is going to bull rush your 99 center. Not saying he wouldn't in real life,
right.
But I'm just saying like he slow down a little bit, right? But they're going to allow that because of that mode. So I know I went over my time. I apologize. I'm trying to get better on this shit. But,
I'm with you.
But my point, I think, like fellas, the only way we're going to get to where you all want to get to, where your play calling coach, you know what I mean, your middle linebacker user skills is going to be on a mode where there's no abilities, no type of shit like that. You take all that out the picture, you'll have a good game.
Okay. Now I will piggyback on something you said. Now, do you feel like that, in their effort to make sim mode what it's supposed to be under that particular tag being simulation, do you think they didn't put enough effort in it or too much? Like I don't think they put enough effort into it at all.
They didn't focus. When you're going to create the mode, you have to dedicate an entire department to that.
I agree.
Right? Because you can't just say, "Oh, we'll throw this in there because we're trying to make authentic football. We'll have a mode." No. This has to be done right because I do want players slipping out of their routes.
Yeah.
Right. I do want players doing those things. I do want the ball is wet or the game it's a rain game, so you don't want to throw the ball 60 times in a damn hailstorm.
Right.
Right. You want to run the ball, but also want to see. I like what they want to do. It's going to reward you for doing things. I hate that word reward. I don't want reward. I want just to be better. But it's gonna allow certain things to happen if you play the game the right way. Right. You know what I mean? Like don't play action on fourth and 5 or 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. That's a terrible decision.
Right.
Or you play action on 3rd and long. That's a terrible
That
decision.
is a very bad decision. Yes, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So the game it knows that. It's trying to get there. So yes, I think they need to dedicate more to that mode before they decide.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. All right, let's go to Los next.
Yeah. I agree with everything that y'all are saying. I mean, I'm in a league that plays on competitive mode, and it's definitely a big difference. Now they still have abilities on, and I think, like Five says, I'm with Five 100% on this. Without the abilities, I think it makes for a more fair game. It makes for you have to go out and actually use your user skills and be smart on your play calling, and things like that. Now in competitive mode, we still have some of those things. Like he said, we do have animation still. It's not as much. We do have to me, the most frustrating thing to me is like Carter said earlier, like you know they about to run to the outside. You got your man in contain, and they don't do what they supposed to do. Like and we know you can't use all 11 players at the same time. So you might have did your coaching adjustments. You called the right play. You know exactly what they're going to do, but you want somebody that's way out of the play and you can't control it. You get blocked or something, but you put your people in position to make the play because you thought they would make the play. So I mean, to me, it just it's frustrating, especially when you got a DB 2 yards in front of a 12-yard route and they just looking in the backfield instead of putting their hands up and catching the pass that could have been an easy pick. And
That is a
things
big
like
frustration
that.
for me. That's a big frustration point for me. I'm glad you said that. I hate it. I mean, and you talking about elite corners too. Like these guys have got high awareness, high man-out zone, and he just looking at the ball like, yeah, I want to catch it today.
Right, and then you can like click on somebody to jump a route and Madden or make you hop back and try to catch the ball, and the receiver just jumped in front of you.
Or like you're chasing a player down if he picked the ball off and you got a running back that has 95 speed, they gonna make you slow down.
Like I'm not catching him at all. Like that don't make no sense.
Could be a D lineman. He's taking him to the house for 60 yards.
Well, I think we all can agree pursuit and edge play is horrible in this game. I think even D-line play to a degree is horrible because if you look at it, the animations, guys get pushed back 1 or 2 yards at the snap of the ball on any O-lineman. It doesn't matter what caliber O-lineman you have. They get pushed back 1 or 2 yards, and even if they clog the lane or you clog the lane with your linebacker, they still get 1 or 2 yards because the D lineman get pushed in your lap. Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm with Five on that. I totally agree. I like it way better without the abilities. It makes it for a more realistic game. It makes it more fun. Because it makes it makes me feel like I'm coaching again while I'm playing, and that's what I like playing Madden because I like to out coach my opponent. But sometimes Madden just will not go my way no matter what. So, but I like you said too. Now competitive mode, you still got those same flaws and same hiccups, but it is a lot more smoother, a lot more realistic now. I can't speak for it without abilities on in competitive mode because I haven't played there yet. But as far as sim, I agree with y'all. I like what they tried to do, make people fall off their routes. And another thing of sim I don't like, you running the ball and you don't even touch the back of your old lineman, and then they got to do this stupid stumble recovery.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm about to break. And all of a sudden, I'm stumble recovering. I didn't even touch this fool.
Right. And then sometimes you get a guy, he'll not stumble at all, but he'll run into 3 guys and he'll push them all out the way and then get through the hole and go for 60. Yeah. It's definitely flawed. I mean, I definitely agree with you, man. Y'all making some great points, man. Definitely some great points here. I'm gonna wait till the end to ask this question, but it's gonna be a good one. I want you to think about it. I'm gonna say it now, but we can wait till the end of the stream to talk about it. Now, would you rather play on sim or competitive next match? Think about that one. We're gonna go to Corey to wrap this topic up, but think about that one for the end.
Yeah, fellas, I'm gonna keep it short. I really didn't put that much effort into learning if Madden had different competitive or sim options, because sim to me always was defined as rules that we were trying to implement into the game to make it as close to realism as possible, as fair as possible. That's why I wasn't a big advocate on the ability situation, man. I mean, I was definitely against it, from the perspective that I saw that it was allowing people to lean on it too much, to some perspective, to win the game. Yeah, man. And it was just one of them things, man. I mean, MDC could vouch for it. It's something we've been working at as pioneers of the league for decades, man. And trying to adjust, the ratings and what is
sliders,
it? MDC,
sliders,
things of that sort, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go back and forth, and so that to me was always a definition of sim to some degree of like just wanting to get it as close to NFL, but still be a video game to, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I didn't even look at it from a game mode. I always looked at it as either you on all Madden or you on all pro or some bullshit like that. So
right.
Yeah,
we didn't even get to the aspect of all Madden versus all pro because a lot of people in the masses from a Madden perspective of the community, they play on all pro. I mean, competitive the competitive scene is played on competitive and all pro. It's not even played on all Madden, which is ludicrous to me. Why have the mode at the most difficult, highest level to play in the game, but you don't play a competitive money game on that mode either? That's ludicrous to me as well. But they should definitely at least play competitive all Madden, not competitive all pro. I don't think,
because all Madden is the all Madden players. The AI is on all Madden.
right.
That's the problem.
Well, that's a good point.
The AI goes crazy,
Uh-huh.
and the AI end up beating players. When all pro, you got to get in there and do it.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. There's a lot of things open in all pro that's not open in all Madden. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so I definitely agree with that. That's a great point as well. Yeah, I mean, I guess to bring this topic to a close, I think that simulation, as a whole, from a mode is twofold. And I think everybody as a conglomerate brought it to head that it's a situation where it's not just gameplay, but it's also rules and sliders and implementation. Like, you got to have all of that. Like, you can't, like, it'd be nice to wake up in the morning and be like, okay, Madden is just going to play NFL style football and I don't have to do anything to it. I can pick it up and play it. I don't need no rules. I don't need no slider changes. I don't need nothing that's, needs to be, manually intervened on to be able to have the game play like a simulation type game. Now, let's be real. I think we all can agree on this. There's always going to be some aspects of a video game because it is a video game, but the one-to-one relationship can be better. Like, you can have, it can't be so skewed towards the video game side that it leaves the simulation side way behind. So I think that's the thing that we all would want as football purists, because I feel like everybody on this chat is football purist, and to be a football purist, you want to see as much of the aspect that you see on Sundays in the game that you want to be able to have that aspect on the TV as on the video game as much as possible. It's not going to be a one-to-one, but it's going to get as close as possible as you can. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Big facts.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to the next topic here. All right, topic 3. All right, so I think it's kind of been broached upon between the first 2 topics, but we're going to get into the third topic of the day, which is competition versus play style. Now, what I mean by that, this is a very deep question here. Now, there's a big level of competition. This is one of the most competitive leagues. I will say it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn as being a commissioner, but this is one of the most competitive leagues that's been in the Madden community for years. And that particular aspect, and then now we have a rating system where that your total wins throughout the Madden cycle will be your calling card or your ticket to pick a team next year. So whoever has the most wins will be the person that picks high on the team selection versus a person that doesn't win a lot will pick low. So that adds the fuel to the fire from a competitive standpoint. So if you're not personally competitive, your ability to pick your team next year will make you competitive. So with that being said, how much does competition versus your actual play style play into how you approach the game? So does your competitiveness override your play style, or are you a true purist and I'm going to play my play style regardless, and if it wins games for me and it does, if it doesn't, it doesn't, and I'm just going to ride it with that? So we're going to start with 5 on this.
Yeah, I know why. I know what you're doing.
Hey man, we know each other a long time. But ain't no secrets with us. We know how it is.
I know. I do. All right. So yeah. Okay. So I probably just now this season started running the ball, right?
Right.
I mean, I ran a little bit. I always ran, at least gonna get over 1,000 every season. So play style, I'm a passer by heart. So I want to pass the ball. Coach can't agree to that because he knows I just ran the ball on him.
Uh-oh.
Right now, I was down.
Hold on.
Not saying it was a loss, but it wasn't that kind of game. It was just like some aspects of the game is just not right yet. But it's getting there. But yeah, no, I like to open up the field and I like to pass the rock. I like to, look at, read defenses, see what defense you're in, you know what I mean, and try to adjust my routes or my receivers based on your defense, right? But it's tough because when the game is fucked up, it's so hard not to. You can't stay in your element. Like I think Jarrell Rel brought it up. like he even said it. He's like, Five, you so stuck in your ways that when the game changed, you ain't changed with the game. Because I shouldn't have to. Now I'm a piggyback on a couple people. Coach, I'm not going to adjust. Why should I have to adjust? Because I know that this person has a zone X factor and is going to pick off this pass, even though he's out of position. I read the ball. I read the pass. I read the safety, and I read the corner right. And I knew when I threw the ball, and I wasn't rushed or I had a clean pocket, he should have hit it. But that guy has that ability, so he's going to jump it. So that starts to deter you a little bit with, you know what I mean, staying with your same ethic, you know, if you will, like with the passing or, you know, if you're a runner, like Jarrell can run. Running has never been an issue for Jarrell or for anyone, really. Running is just Madden is a running game, right? It's always been, he had what's that running back from Texas? I forget his name. With the dreads. That wasn't shit.
Oh, Trent, was it Trent Richardson?
Trent Richardson. No,
yeah.
Trent Richardson, Alabama.
Alabama,
right?
yeah, Alabama, yeah.
Alabama. So he had Trent Richardson. That nigga was traded 7 times, but he was leading. He broke all kinds of records.
Yeah.
You know,
he was Nick Chubb before Nick Chubb was Nick Chubb.
But there's always somebody every year with him. But
I mean, he picked a no-name guy and took him to the Super Bowl. Remember that year?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's by nature. It's I want to pass the rock. I want to throw the ball because to me, it's there's more plays when it comes to passing the ball over running. Right? You can do the same outstretch, inside zone, or dive plays for the running back. Like there's only like you can do a couple counters, right? You know that's cool. But passing, I can really open the playbook up.
Yeah.
Right? I can do all kinds of shit. I can line up in 3 tight ends and pass out of that. Right? So it's more of a chess match to me. But yeah, if you don't adjust, and I didn't adjust, I wouldn't adjust because I hated the fact that you changed. So you get burnt, right? You're going to get burnt because the game is changing, and you have to change it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate. Let's go back to the days where we stripped it bare bones, right?
Yeah. I'm with you. That's great perspective. I mean, you know, and I think that, you know, for some people, you know, it gets the better of them. You know, they will, you know, lean on the game, you know, when they struggle. You know, they just, you know, I guess it all goes down to how type of person you are, what type of person you are. You know, if you're the type of person that, you know, you will just work hard and just try to figure things out and get better at an aspect of the game that you're weak at, that's one thing, you know, and it may or may not pay off for you. But if you're a person that you just can't stand losing, and it just you got to do what you got to do to ultimately win, the idea of leaning towards what the meta is and playing to that style may get the better of you, and you just rather win than play your own game. So that might be what it is for some people.
I enjoy coming out of different paths. Like you can look at, you know, people get tendencies. Like I played all y'all brothers for years, but people get tendencies. So you know, but then you come out like Five's gonna throw the ball, right? No, actually he ran 40 times this game.
Right.
You see what I mean? The game I played with Los last season, that game was dope, right? I had the game won, and I know I'm over the time, but he played it so well in the last minute of the game or the last 30 seconds of the game. He drove down the field. Right, I was up. He drove down the field. I had like 2 timeouts and 1 timeout left. Call timeout because I knew he was gonna kick the field goal, and I tried to ice him. He ran another play. It was just great football, right? You know what I mean? So I had to say,
chess match.
It was a great chess match. You know what I mean? And so I give respect to shit like that.
Yeah,
but if I was getting sacked by his players off the bat, like. I'm throwing the ball around now, you know what I mean? Because I don't lost. You can tell when a player give up. You can just tell when you take the air right out of a player.
Right.
Oh, this nigga just throwing the ball. It's third down. He throwing, you know
he threw 5 interceptions. He keep throwing.
All air out of the chest.
Right, all of it.
So.
Okay, all right, that's cool. All right, well, let's go to Los next. Let's go on this topic. Let's talk to him next.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna say, as far as competitive versus play style, I feel like my play style is always gonna be the same. I'm like Five said, I like to pass the ball. I probably in all my leagues, I'm probably throwing 50 interceptions a year because that's just what I'm gonna do.
Right.
I'm gonna ride it out with the pass. Yeah. But now I will say though, I am competitive though, but it's hard. I done learned this year in this Madden that sometimes you just gotta laugh it off and and not worry about, because there's nothing you can do. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. You're gonna lose regardless. However Madden feels like you lose, you wants to play. And as far as the team selection goes, look, I'm going with my team. Ain't nobody gonna want my boys. So
So you
so look,
safe.
we here.
You safe now,
I'm
huh?
safe.
You safe.
Yeah, I'm safe. I'm
Okay.
already safe. But I will say though, I will say this. I am competitive. I do get frustrated. I do get mad when I feel like it could have been a good game, and because somebody wanted to play the Madden way instead of playing football, I feel like I waste an hour of my life, and I keep coming back for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Because we
That's
all got stuff
ridiculous.
to do. Yeah, we all got stuff we can be doing.
Oh, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I feel like when I play somebody that just run cover four all game long or something, and it don't make it fun for me, and I just feel frustrated. I look at my kids out running around in the living room. I'm like, hell, I could have been out there just chilling with y'all. I'm up in here getting my ass kicked for nothing.
I hear you. I hear
Um,
you. Yeah, I think we've
but
all been down that road where a guy, I mean, because let's be real, some people have been here and gone that before your time, Los, and in your time, that they just do that one thing that it frustrates you and annoys you, and they don't play any type of logistical or realistic football. And he was like, "Why am I going through this?" It just you just have to hope in those veins that you have a situation where you don't play them often. If you got a guy in your division that's like that, like you just like, I can't believe I got to pay this dude twice a year, type of deal. But if you got to play him once every 4 seasons, then it don't matter that much. You just get the game over with and move on. But yeah, but I definitely feel your pain. Like, I said, I don't, want to get too deep in my resume, but I mean, I played ball collegiately, and I coached it, boys club and high school level, won championships and things of that nature. And, I'm a football purist. I'm a football head, straight up and down. And, I think we talked about this once before when KT was on. Like, when it comes down to football, I want to be outcoached. If you outcoach me and we played a good game, you outcoach me and you win, I have no problem losing to that. But if you only beat me because you ran an exploit 90 times a game, then that's not something I want to scrap to, man. It just is what it is. I just don't want to do it. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
So yeah, that's it. That's all I got on that topic.
Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's move over to Corey on that one, and we'll wrap up with Coach.
All right. So unfortunately, Madden has put people in a perspective that you can't play it like real football. And what I mean by that is I've grown to adapt to looking at and reading defenses and knowing what can beat a defense. And sadly, that affects the game because it takes a person like myself who wants to be a purist, who wants to play the game in a manner of, okay, I want to beat my opponent at a chess game. And it puts me where I have to scheme or do a gimmick play because defenses don't change on, or a person doesn't change on defense, and I hate that about it, and it's just a matter of whoever you're playing. It's just the way you have to adapt to your opponent. But, I've always told people the best way to beat me is to mix up your defense. You mix up your defense, I'm going to struggle basically because I'm going to be looking at all perspectives of where those safeties lined up, where those corners lined up, are you pressing, are you, base aligning and things of that sort. And I sadly have to look at my offense from that perspective of what can beat cover 3, what can beat cover 4, what can beat man to man. And I hate it, but that's just the nature of the beast,
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I mean, there are certain, I think that what your point you're trying to drive home is that there's certain unrealistic aspects that beat those coverages, when, like, let's just speak football real quick. A pin concept will beat cover 4 in a lot of aspects of it. Pin concept is an in route company with a post route from different opposite sides of the field. Now that deep post route, because the opposite field safety doesn't really see it coming, he may step up and try to bite on that dig and then the post route gets over the top. But that's not always a one-on-one relationship when it comes to Madden. Somebody sitting in cover 4, if I run a pin concept, I should naturally, if I get time in the pocket, I max protect or whatever the case may be, and I should be, if I got a decent size receiver or with decent speed, he should be able to win, over top, and get a big play, but it doesn't always work that way. But in reality, like I brought up the example before, Cole, when you went on the chat that, I'm playing cover 2 and then you run a smash concept on cover 2. Now everybody knows that knows football, a smash concept doesn't work on cover 2. It just doesn't. But it worked in your regard because you had an ability on your receiver and my corner just dumbed out. That particular aspect that I'm sure everybody feels that's a flaw in the game that shouldn't be in it.
Well, I was just gonna bring it back to your cover 2 comment. A smash concept can work during cover 2. If you look at is it a cover 2 hard flat? Because that corner, he's gonna play that zone and he's gonna guard his corner route, or he's gonna guard the outside receiver. He's gonna press him. Or he's going to go up toward him. So he's going to stick with that man in that zone. If that receiver stays or he runs a short hook route, then that inside receiver in the slot, he comes out and does that outpost. There's nobody. It's in between the deep safety and the corner. You know what I mean? So in that scenario, it can. But if it's a cover 2, where that corner drops back.
Oh, it was a cloud. It was a cloud.
Oh, it was a cloud.
Okay, it was a cloud.
So in that scenario, you would hit the outside receiver on the short curl, or just kind of if you just stayed there.
Right. It was a 3rd and long. It was, the game was tight. It was a 3rd and long. I was in the cloud flat. I had a 95 overall corner sitting out there waiting. He looked at the ball, watched it fly over his head, and the receiver caught it behind him. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and to make the point on MDC side, my receiver had abilities that was gonna kind of outmatch his corner, unfortunately. And again, that's the makeup of Madden. That should I have thrown the ball? Probably not. It was a lucky catch. But knowing the abilities of my receiver, having post corner elite or some shit, it made me feel that I had more of an advantage at that particular time. Now, he could have potentially usured or some sort, but it was just in that moment. I caught that situation. But yeah, man, Madden will frustrate the shit out of you.
Yeah, and the situations about usuring, I was on the safety, and I took away one route that was going to get to the sticks, and then the other route beat me in the corner. So I'm figuring that the corner standing right there is no way in the world that he could. I just thought it was a bad read. I said he's got to pick that off, and he didn't. And boom, first down, kick the field goal, win the game, game over. That type of thing. When you call a certain defense, you expect it to rack in normal regards, and it doesn't. And same vein with offensive plays. You expect certain offensive plays to work against this particular defense or concept should work against a particular defense, and it doesn't. And that's where Madden starts to slowly drip away from the aspects of what it's built on, and that's football. But, we can talk about it all day. All right, so let's move over to Coach to wrap this topic up.
First off, I want to say, MDC, you sound really hurt about that situation. Now,
brother, listen. I think it affected my playoff position.
Yeah,
I think I would have had a bye by winning that game, and I ended up in the wild card.
Yeah, this man sounds like LeBron over there. He recalled everything that happened.
Bro, I got a pretty decent memory when it comes to football, so that's just how I roll. I think that's what makes me decent on defense, because I actually remember a lot of things, from playing people.
The same way, as far as like if you go look at, I got a lot of clips on my page. If you guys ever went to go look at it, all of it's bad shit that happened to me. Like, it's like automatic. Like, what the fuck happened to that? Record that shit. Like,
right.
Live it, because I just get so mad, and I'm really like. So when people say, "Oh, this happened," I got receipts. So don't do it to me. I'll go back and put it on there real quick.
You should change your group meeting name to that. I got receipts. I like that.
I got receipts, man. Don't sit up here and say you whooped my ass. I'll put like 3 plays on there real quick. But as far as like competition versus play style, I'm kind of with you guys. I try to be. I'm real competitive in real life, and I try to play that way. So I was like, running the ball is the thing to do. I'll run. Even if I run for, 6 yards, don't get the first down, I punt the ball and maintain field position,
Yeah.
I realize I will always stay in the game doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not what I do. Like, I can't. So, I come into a game saying I'm gonna run the ball, I'm gonna do that. 6 interceptions later, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm just throwing it up to DK now. Fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just competitive. Like, when you say competitive, like me, competitive is more like I'm gonna play my game. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do, no matter what the meta is. I'm gonna do what I got to do, and no matter win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna make it work some type of way. But it's hard. It's hard. And even when you try to do it, like if that's not in you, if it's not in you to just no matter what, I'm gonna just stick to this because I know I got a better chance of winning. If that's not in you, it's not in you. It's not in me to do that. Like, I'm not going to play the game the way the game's supposed to be played just to win the game. I play the game for fun at the end of the day.
Right.
We all play it for fun. It's like we're not getting paid to do it.
There's no money involved. Definitely no money involved.
I want to enjoy the game. Me running the ball, if my opponent runs the ball 30 times a game, I run the ball 30 times a game, that game going to be 23 minutes, and it's just trash. Like, it's just trash. Like, it's just not. It's not
Correct.
fun.
Correct.
It's not fun playing against somebody that does that. It's not fun doing it. Not to me or whatever. It's a couple runs like the dive. I know people talk about the stretch. I enjoy running the stretch because I feel like it's a run that you can actually be creative with. I get to look at the flow of the linebackers and stuff like that. It's nothing better than running a stretch play and somebody's using their linebacker and you cut back on them.
Overcommit.
Absolutely.
I like that.
That's a great play.
That's a good one.
People say the stretch is OP, but in my opinion, if you run it the right way, you laying off the speed burst, you're not trying to hit it right away because you're trying to judge the line. You're trying to see who's gonna pick up who. To me, that's what competitive mode is. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, that's a great point. That's definitely a great point. And I think that, and I will say this to, about the run game, it's still some level of skill involved in that. It's not a situation where you can just, hike the ball, take your finger off the control and let the computer do the work. Like especially when a stretch call comes, especially when people load the box, depending on what, formation call 4-3, 4-4, 34, whatever, if you don't pick a lane and run the ball, properly, you're not going to get big gains. It's just not gonna happen for you, and I think some people realize that, no matter how good the run is, they just not good runners. So they just stick to the, passing game or a short passing game or a screen game, whatever they do, from an offense perspective, they just don't run the ball 30 times a game because, you just not, that's not what you do. You don't have the vision, to be able to stick to those particular aspects. Like I said, we all go back to Vince's, play style. He's always been a runner. From Madden, we're talking Madden 10 to Madden 20. He's always been a runner first.
Hate him.
Very big, but he's always been a runner first. He's always been good at it. He always finds a way to be good at the run. Like, he's different. He's getting his pass game in order, better, more so in, this Madden and other Maddens. I guess 18, 19, and 20, he's probably been more dedicated to having a balanced, offense. But, we know one thing's going to be true, is Dev taxes and Jarrell running the ball. That's just what it's going to be. And he's, like I said, he's good at it. That's his niche. So he sticks to it. He has that aspect of it. Then he has the play action pass game and things of that nature to it, that makes it, always a game that you look to, be a chess match in, because he's gonna, if you stop his run, then, and then you have, that particular aspect taken away from him. He still has the pass game to rely on. He's not gonna be a one-dimensional guy anymore. But yeah, I think everybody has, great perspectives on it. And I brought the topic up because I wanted to get people's perspective on, does it overtake your psyche? Like, everybody has their own mindset when they come to approaching Madden, how they play. Now, because wins matter and just your competitive spirit, and don't want to have people looking at you like you're terrible at the game because you're not winning games, will that override your integrity is what I want to get at. Does it override your integrity to the point where I'm just going to do what Madden allows me to do to win games? And it seems to me that all you brothers on the call feel like I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to be, the type of person I'm going to be. It's not going to control my life. And that's refreshing to hear. Definitely refreshing to hear. All right, so we're going to move on to the last topic of the day. It is open forum. we're going to allow anybody that's speaking to bring up a topic of their own, and they can have about that 3 minutes and 30 seconds to speak on it, and we'll give feedback accordingly what that topic is. All right, so we're going to start with Coach this time. We're going to start with Coach this time, so we end up with you last time. And is there anything you want to bring up league-wise, gameplay-wise, Madden-wise, that you want to bring up as an open topic for the stream?
I don't really have anything gameplay-wise. I think we all, we touched on a lot of topics, and we all understand the game. I'm looking forward to 21 still. One thing I do wish that we could do is possibly, the thing that makes this league great is exactly what we're doing right now. The interactive aspect of it. I definitely wish we can get some more streams, and not just streams, but as far as like people getting on the mic, things of that nature. I see a lot of personality that could be, exuded as far as like us coming together and, trash talking and things of that nature. I think that'll, boost the league up a lot more to make it, more fun than what it already is. And like I said, I don't have any complaints about it. I just feel like it'll make it even better. I like the way you guys started with the plays of the week and things of that nature. But as far as like making it even more interactive, I think that's, the way to go with it, to make it, something that, we all can enjoy on a consistent basis. I know some people don't want to get on the mic and things of that nature, and that's fine. But I think it would be great. Like, me and Los, we know each other, and that's home team right there. You know what I'm saying? Five seems like he has a great personality. Everybody, and could you just imagine, like, so whenever that stream comes on, like, oh shit, that's a game between, Five and Coach. Like, we got to watch that because, they're going to be talking shit on there. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that would make the league a little bit more, not better, but just, add up just the icing on the cake to it. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully we can get, people a little bit more involved in that. I know your boy up this internet, got some gigabyte, so I started streaming, but that's when I started getting my ass whooped. So now I ain't streaming no more. But if everybody else starts streaming,
that's Five's problem. Five said he stopped streaming, he stopped winning, so that's why he stopped streaming.
Yeah, I said fuck that.
I hear you. I mean that's a great point. I mean I'm for as much interaction as we can accomplish. Like, I'm to be honest with you, it's a bit of a struggle, trying to get everybody organized and do this particular stream. It works out. The end product looks good, but the legwork to try to get this done is a lot. I had a guest that was supposed to come on in Corey's place. I had to call him last minute, like, bro, I need your help. Like, I need you to come on and be on this call with me because I'm missing a person now. Because they had something come up last minute. So it's a lot, but it's almost like a movie production. Like the behind the scenes stuff you don't see. But but trust me, I'm definitely for a lot of interaction. I mean, even to the point where we can almost do a video call. Like, let's say if Five streams this game, and you and Coach, you playing Five, right? I could have y'all. I could literally have y'all on chat and have Five stream up in the background, so you can see y'all's facial reactions to the play as y'all playing. So y'all don't necessarily have to talk amongst each other, but we can see like a head-to-head type of style. Like, you can be on one side, you can be on the other side, and we can see y'all facial reactions and y'all despair or excitement when it comes to a play happening. That's something we can do too. That's something that's within my realm to do. That's just an idea I came off the top of my head when you brought that up. But I'm almost for as much interaction in streaming and in sports talk shows and live streams as we can do. Everybody got their schedules and their families, and we're all busy, we're all grown men, end of the day. But as much as we can get done, I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. So that's a great point.
Yeah, and like I said, I understand it takes a lot of work, and everybody's got to be on the same page. It's got to be scheduling ahead of time and things of that nature. But I just feel like if you can, like, I'm willing to do it. Like, I know my schedule. If our schedules match up, I'll be like, yo, you want to jump on the mic and do this or whatever. So
right.
Just a little bit of more interaction can make people tune into that stream or whatever. We get people Twitches popping and stuff like that. So
I agree with that. I
understand the legwork that goes into it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, I just need the participation. That's all. And for you to be an advocate of, I'm definitely going to lean on you, to be, a voice for that, try to get people involved, because as long as we get the bodies, we can make it happen. You know, the resources are there. We just need the bodies. You know, I just need people to be dedicated to sit down for however long we need to sit down for and just get it done, because everybody loves it. You know, when it pops up, we literally got 14, 15 viewers watching us right now. You know, so, you know, and I'm pretty much sure that's mostly league people. So everybody is entertained by it. We just need people to be involved. That's it. All right. So that's all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Cool. All right, let's go to Close next.
All right, yeah. I like the idea of what Carter was saying. That sounds good. I'm for it as well. If we want to start this interaction with the streams and stuff, I'll do my part. Um, but for my open forum topic, I will say this. I just want to shout out Five. I think watching these around the MNFL streams and stuff, I want to shout him out because I feel like he one of the most realest niggas that come on these mics. And I will say I played with him last year in the league on Madden in 19, and I hated his guts. I didn't like him. I didn't care for him at all. And I want to say after joining this league, I have a new respect for Five. Real talk. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I used to not care for you. I really do appreciate your gameplay now. I do appreciate you know, since it goes back to what y'all was saying about these interactions. It kind of gives you a face with the person you playing. Like, I didn't know who he was last Madden, and I never talked to him just through Group Me, and I really didn't. I wasn't a fan of him. But I feel like he's one of the most realest niggas in the league. And I respect everything he says, and I kind of agree with most of the stuff he says. But other than that, I just wanted to put that out there. And once again, Bold City, nobody gonna pick the Jags next year. So I can go 2-12
Duval,
the rest of this year.
Duval County. Duval. Okay. All right.
Minshew Mania. I'm gonna take Minshew Mania and throw them 50 picks next Madden.
The porn stash superstar.
But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all letting me in the league.
Hey,
like
man.
Carter said, me and him, we home team. I know Carter for years. Prince, Tabari, Proto, I know all. Brandon, we all from the same town. So
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm all for making whatever it takes to make the league better. I'm trying to do better with my frustrations when I feel like, you know, I outcoach somebody, but I ain't gonna get into that topic. I said for the next open forum.
I hear you.
But other than that, yeah, I appreciate everything y'all doing for the league.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sticking with us, man. I know we had some private conversations about, you know, your frustrations and how the league was, you know, leaning towards, you know, with the abilities and stuff, and you stuck it out with us, man. I appreciate you hanging in tough, you know, when things was rough. You stayed the course, man. So I appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's go to Corey, and then we'll wrap up with Five.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody's forums, man. That was great. Kind of piggybacking off of Carter's and MDC. You and I just had that conversation moments before the live feed. But I was just telling MDC that I wanted more camaraderie with the league, and that was gonna make me make a decision of not playing with my home team if they're available when I do select. That I was gonna go to wherever I see the most camaraderie that takes place. And I made a comment in the MNFL chat the other day in regards to deciding upon like the AFC North or another division, because those guys have fun, you know, and camaraderie is so important, man, because man, it can burn you out. You know, it's one of two games that I truly only play on my Xbox, you know, to say the least. But it's definitely something that I like. Carter's ideas. I think that's going to be great. I'm willing to put forth the effort as well and stream more and televise and make comments. And I love MDC's idea to jump on the feed and, you know, have two people like basically going back and forth, you know, with the camaraderie of the game at that moment. That would be fun. So yeah, if those things kind of happen, I could, you know, definitely lean back into my position of wanting to play with my hometown. But all in all, man, I mean, I'm just here to have fun. Just 43 years old and still kicking it. With the video games. But yeah, man. As far as open forum, that's pretty much it. It was just based upon camaraderie with the league, and it's been the best, man. I mean, these guys are family. At the end of the day, I've known them, since the league has been going on, and couldn't put a face with a lot of the guys, but man, I tell you, I call some of them some of my best friends. So I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think that, to piggyback off the camaraderie thing, I think that will play into his team selection. Now, something I've mentioned to you that if you're picking at the top, you kind of get what you get in your division. But, if you're picking in the middle rounds, you're looking at it, well, I want to go to this division, pick this team, even if I have to build them, because I know that I'm going to be able to play against good players. They're always available. Right. I ain't got no scheduling problems with them, and I'm always going to be able to have, some good banter in the chat. We can trash talk and go back and forth, have a good laugh, and be just, it's entertainment at the end of the day. I want to be, we're going to entertain each other. We're going to fight hard on the field, and it's going to be chill after that, and I think that's what everybody would appreciate and love to have that in the division, and based upon what they playing. Even in your conference, because you got to play people in your conference regularly too, and you don't want to keep playing the same jokers that give you problems all the time. Like, this dude only can play between 10 p.m. and 11, 15 every day. Like, you might be busy during that time, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go to 5 to wrap up this topic.
Yo, all right. So Los, good shout out, brother. Nothing but love, my man. Los came we were with TFL, I believe. He came into the division. Yeah, after he didn't pick up the sticks in some years. So, that wasn't a good look. But my man. But yeah, no, I mean, anytime we get media involved with these niggas are shooting? Hold on. You hear that?
I hear it.
I'm gonna get mushy just in case. But it's anytime we get media involved with the video game side of it, and we all can get in. Like, I started doing the podcast, right? Remember back then,
right?
So that's dope, and I'm always gonna sign up for that because anytime that people can see my bipolarness when it comes to this video game, instead of just seeing it in the chat, like there's certain people that just rub you the wrong way, right? Like,
right.
Like with me, it's very, like I like the brothers that we have. I have people, I keep going back to that. Like, I need to have the vetting process handled by me, because it's a certain character. It's not even so much the gameplay is everything, yes, but it's more of a character. How can you? What kind of man are you? What kind of things do you? You know what I mean? Are you going to be on some other shit that to where next thing you know, somebody gonna want to punch in your face? Like, are you going to be throwing people under the bus, doing all kinds of corny stuff? That stuff is whack. So
yeah, we need you and Rail on that, because Rail love to point you out and call you who you are. He might ask to pull up on you if you talk too much shit to him. So it is. I get it.
And Madden can do that. Madden, it should have that under the logo. Losing friends for years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's. But no, I love the direction we're going. Again, how I am. I'm comfortable with 30 real people than to have 32 clowns. You know what I mean? That's really how I feel. But getting back to I'm always going to harp on basics until it can be fixed 100%. And when it's going to be fixed 100%, that's when they're going to soak some more money into the franchise mode. So until that happens, fellas, the only way we're going to affect change is to have these conversations amongst ourselves to understand that these things aren't working or this is working, and let's continue to push forward. You know what I mean? But we can't just have somebody at the top making decisions, and we never been that kind of league. We always try to put it out there. So I like these conversations because you get to voice your point, you voice your opinion, make your points, and then people can either buy in or not, or give their respectful objection to why this is the reason why I think things are the way it is. But personally, anytime we're going to get back to bare bones, take away all the abilities and take away all the craziness and all the extraness that belongs in a different game mode. I mean, I'm down for that. I'm never going to be a part of a league or anything that is all about fantasy and video game-ness, right?
Right.
And then I want to touch on the division thing. That's very important for me. I love the fact that Rel loves the Eagles. You know what I mean? Joe loves the Cowboys. I look forward, if I could get the Giants, I look forward to playing them. I've been in a lot of divisions with Joe, so I look forward to that. You know what I mean? Because I know that it's so important to have everybody available, and you don't have to worry about chasing motherfuckers down. When reality is, we all got families, and we kind of build our schedules based on these games. And I'm not gonna lie to my family because I'm saying that well, this person said, all right, well, a 9-ish. I like the people that I have in my division, and I like the people that or I would go to a division like Corey. I would go to a division with people that I know that I won that have been with me for a while in these leagues, and then I know that we can get these games in with. But all in all, man, I really appreciate having these conversations, and I appreciate the way the game is being played, and it's dope. So let's just keep it going. I appreciate you guys following the rules and getting your rosters in line, so we don't have to have this conversation this season. Y'all gonna forget next year, but it's all right. You know what I mean? Make sure you get your rosters in order. Otherwise, that beach cruiser is pulling up, baby.
Right.
Nah, I'm just, but hey, y'all my niggas.
All right. Okay. Well, that's a good way to end that topic. Real quick. So, just piggyback off of the whole sim versus competitive aspect of it. We'll start with Coach. So real quick, how do you feel about it? If you had your say, or if you had your choice, what would you rather play on in Madden 21, sim or competitive?
Definitely got to go with sim. We play a franchise. You got to build your team. People are, if you're a cornerback, you can't catch, you're gonna drop the pick. I feel like with the abilities off, and I would suggest turning the sliders down so it's a slower progression, so people can build 99 overall teams that quick.
Mm-hmm.
And also would suggest go 52-man roster. That's how you're supposed to do it. So people can't just keep signing all these great players over and over again. I think if you do it that way, then it gets closer to that simulation mode that you want. But yeah, I definitely would go with sim, just based off the fact that it's a franchise, and sim is based off of how you build your team. You're supposed to build a team from scratch using the sim mode, as far as like, what are you going to dedicate to your D line? What are you going to dedicate to your backfield? What are you going to dedicate to your secondary? Things of that nature. And I think once you go to competitive mode, you kind of take all that out of it, because if you're 89, what's a 89 overall cornerback compared to a 99 overall cornerback in competitive mode? It's not really a difference. It's not really a difference. You know what I'm saying? So why build your cornerback up to 99 overall if an 89 overall cornerback is going to do the same thing? So I would say sim.
Gotcha.
All right. Can I just ask one question? So sim and competitive is actually game modes. So that's affecting the game. So all those things about building your roster and building a team can happen on both modes. That doesn't change based on simulation or competitiveness. Simulation is more in game. How is the game playing out? You know what I mean? But you could still build your team. The sliders they all really have nothing to do with competitive versus sim.
I was under the assumption that competitive mode is like people do what they're supposed to do. So it's kind of like if you have an 85 overall, receiver, if you throw him a pass in competitive mode, he's gonna catch that pass. That's just point blank period. He's gonna catch it. You don't really see too many drops and stuff. I play a lot of online games or whatever, and I don't. It's nothing compared to sim mode. Like it's totally different.
It's definitely different. It's definitely different.
So whether that be just I just want a fair game at the end of the day. So either way, I'm gonna be here. So whatever y'all choose to do, I'm still gonna ride with it. But I think that I personally would say sim mode, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. All right, let's go to Corey next.
I don't know enough about the sim modes. Like I said in my previous statement, I didn't look at the game from that perspective. So if I have to touch base on it based on how coach defines it, then sim should be the option. I think it's going to alleviate a lot of the commissioner needs at that point. You know, that they can focus their attention on other things. But all in all, it's it wouldn't matter either way for me personally. I mean, I do want, like Coach said, teams to have to build and it take a longer period of time. And I do like the perspective of having to fill a roster to its maximum amount. You know, that in that way you could kind of police the free agency and things of that sort.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are broken with the system as in franchises it is. I mean, it's just wash and repeat from the last 2 or 3 years per se. But I think I think they could do something different with free agency as far as telling people who's winning bids. Take that out. I think they could, from a practice perspective, I think they could make you could be able to play head-to-head games online, either in simulation mode or competitive mode. It shouldn't just be one mode, because you can play all the competitive online games you want, but it still won't translate one-to-one from a sim perspective. You can get the sim mode and play a completely different game, certain aspects of it, so I think they could have a sim mode ability to play online head to head, and they could change some things as far as the sliders are concerned when it comes to XP, because everybody feels I think it's a misconception. The XP that you gain is predefined from a development perspective. Like, the sliders that we have control over only control focused players. Like the people that you focus on in training week to week, you have 3 players you can focus on. The amount of XP that they get in that focus aspect on top of what they would get in their normal training is the only thing we control. So for quarterbacks, let's say we bump the slider all the way down to 100. They would only get 100 extra XP for being a focus player, but we don't have no control over how much they get from a practice perspective. So if you practice or you focus on quarterbacks as a focus point for that week, the quarterback in his development dictates how much XP he gets. EA has total control over that. We don't have control over that at all. That's the under the hood thing that people don't realize. We don't control the amount of XP they get as a person. So if an X Factor quarterback gets 10,000 XP per game, that's on EA. That's not on us. Only thing we control is the focus. So if you focus in them on top of training him, he will get a 900 boost on top of the 10,000 he got from what EA defined. So people should understand that we don't have control over the overall XP they get. We want to have control over the focus. So your 3 focus players, we can change that up and down. But again, that's small potatoes in comparison to what they get as being trained under the Power O or the Cover 4 trainer. Like you have a Cover 4 trainer for defense. You have a power run game or a red zone trainer for for running backs and receivers. So what the running backs and receivers get from that training perspective, because he's an X factor, and we don't control that.
Yeah, I've seen in other leagues, MDC. I don't know how they did it. I didn't look at the sliders per se, but for some reason, those teams seem to be averaging around about a 79 to about an 80. And I'm talking about we're in like season 9 or some sort. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how their sliders look. I don't know what the perspectives are, and I'm curious to know now, because you just don't see the offensive linemen all at a 96 or 99 and things of that sort. So it's just one of those things where I noticed that in our league, we've been able to get teams up to these upper echelon, 99 teams, and I've never seen it before till this Madden.
I got you. Yeah, like I said, it's something we can look at. I mean, I think that's what we need involvement in as well, as far as testing the numbers. I mean, because you only have a certain amount of people that's in the front office. So if we get more feedback in our DARE program, in our testing league, prior to us launching the game, that would be helpful as well. for people to understand that, we may miss things, but but I'm pretty sure that's the way it runs. But if we missing things and things need to be tweaked, we need evidence of that. You can't just tell me, hey, we should change it to this, to this, to this. And I'm like, well, why? You don't tell me why. Well, I'm like, well, I'm not going to change it just because you tell me. That type of deal. So I'd show me some evidence, give me some hard facts, and I would definitely consider it. I'm not a person that won't consider your proposal because you gave me all the facts, and I'd be like, nah, I don't care. I'm not gonna do that. You give me the facts, and we'll definitely look at it. But that's just where that is. So we're gonna move on to 5 next. How do you feel about the mode 5? Similar competitive?
That's such a hard question this early,
Mm-hmm.
because talk to me in September. Right. Let's see after we labbed it. Let's see if the feedback from the community has been received by EA. Let's see if they soak a couple more dollars into it. Let's see if they dedicate to the mode, because we talked a little bit earlier about the way it is. If we were to stand, if it's going to stand like it is today, I'm going to go competitive. Right now, the reason why competitive online plays differently than what you're seeing in the actual the league is because you're playing on all pro competitive with abilities. So that means you're gonna be mossing people and you're gonna do those things. Now, if you read on what competitive versus simulation mode is, right? Competitive is stick skills. You know what I mean? You getting out there. So if you play, it's just like when we do the vetting process. So when you play those 5 games, you're gonna play that on all Madden competitive. Now, play all Madden competitive with abilities off, you're going to have a completely different game. You're going to have a game that's bare bones,
Right.
right? So that's where I'm at with that. So today, it's hard to ask which one. I don't really have an answer until I play it, until I go through some seasons just, moving quick, just playing around in the off season we're all labbing to see if they fix certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Because I do want realistic football. I don't want you to be able to throw just because the guy is or he should be catching it because he's supposed to catch it. No, if it's raining and it's snowing and you get blindsided, you should drop the ball,
Right.
right? Or if you're jumping in the middle of the field and you get your knees taken out from underneath you, you should drop the ball and they should pull the stretcher out, right? Like I get that, right? But don't start affecting the game from oh well, this team is supposed to beat this team. If you do a simulation and you just let it ride, that team's gonna beat that team. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that man beat that man. Pause. Based on his skills versus his skills. I don't care too much about your team, right? I don't care about what's supposed to happen, and that's what simulation is. It's what's supposed to happen. All you got to do is just go to Google and look up simulation mode, and then look up competitive mode, and you're gonna get a lot of insight in just one quick article, right? So we always played on competitive before this whole transition to Frostbite.
Right.
Right. The transition to Frostbite was a disservice to Madden and EA. Right. Now they transitioned from what? Tiburon, I believe it was.
I'm not sure what the engine was before that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was no modes then.
No.
And everybody was happy. Or we found something else to complain about.
Right, but what were we complaining about today? Yeah.
Right. We are complaining about things that are out of our control, fellas.
Right.
Like let's look at that. Right. So I'm not saying competitive versus sim. I'm just saying if simulation mode can live up to its potential, I'm all for it.
Right.
But until it can, I'm gonna want to strip this game down to where nobody has no advantage outside of your skills in the way you build your player. Right, as far as his ability, if you have a 99 lineman, my 84, like Jarrell said it in the chat the other day, your 84 your 84 rated superstar X factor should not affect the game against these players that are elite at certain positions. Right. You should be getting pancaked on the second level from a pull-in guard. Right. You should not be going through that. Right. So it's such a hard question to answer today. But if the game is just like today, I'm going to want to go competitive because it's going to strip the game even further than we're stripping it already. Let's take out all the bullshit and let's add your skills to the game, and let's keep it moving. And then if I beat you, pause, then they can shake hands and let's keep it moving.
Right.
Feel me?
I got you. All right, so let's go to Los and let's wrap this up.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what everybody was saying. I'm me personally, I love competitive mode more than simulation mode. I haven't played it, like I said earlier, I haven't played it with the abilities off. I imagine it's way better. But as far as competitive mode and my other franchise, it's just a lot more smoother. I know if I'm gonna throw a post route, then my receiver, I know it's a chance that he's gonna catch it in stride like he should, and not go up for a stupid animation uh, high catch and then get the ball swatted out his hand or something. And even with running the ball, I feel like it's a lot more smoother on competitive because you actually can like bounce off your lineman and keep going and make plays and stuff and not get animated from the D lineman grabbing you through the O lineman and bringing you down and things like that.
Right, because it's scripted. It's scripted on
Right,
simulation.
right.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. Like Five said, if they can fix simulation to where it should be, I'm all for it as well. But as far as the modes, as of right now, I'm more of a fan of competitive mode. I would love to play competitive with no abilities on, just to see how that is. But yeah, but right now, I would prefer competitive mode because, like Five said, it's about your user skills. You can still build your team how you want to build your team, but you got to be able to click on different players to make them plays instead of relying on your computer to do everything for you when somebody throw a ball.
That's a great point. That's definitely a great point. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it's split down the middle as far as what mode you'd rather play on. But I'm of the ilk that whatever is best for the league. I think that it depends on, because we never really even tested the idea. We just automatically knew sim was supposed to be for CFM and competitive was supposed to be for MUT. There's everybody says, like, you play competitive, you play MUT. You play sim, you play franchise. That's what everybody kept saying. That's what the idea or the ideology was supposed to be when they separated the modes. So nobody even thought to test the idea of testing competitive with no abilities and sim with no abilities and things of that nature. We just literally tested sim with no abilities mid cycle here. But we didn't even test competitive because we just feel like it's a MUT mode. So it's one of those things
we talked about it.
We did. We talked about it, but we never actually tested it. Like, we didn't get in and deep dive and say, how was this playing versus how was this playing? We didn't compare and contrast at all. We just automatically assumed that sim was supposed to be for our mode, and it just was what it was. And that was just it. So, it's something to think about, I mean, we got a lot of, we got time between now and the next cycle, and something we could, actually, get deep dive into and find out what's the best mode and route to go and attack it in that manner. And, like I said, and whatever makes it for competitive, great games, everybody's involved, everybody's happy and everybody's good. That's a win for the league. So, yeah. But overall, man, I appreciate everybody that came through today, everybody's time. Want to do a quick wrap up? Any final words from anybody? Cole, you got any final words?
Oh man, this was fun, man. I hope to be a part of some more in the future. And sorry I haven't been a part of them earlier, man.
Hey man, like I said, you here now, so we know that everybody that wants to be involved gonna be involved. We're gonna keep you in mind. Coach, you got any final words?
Not too much, man. I just enjoyed being a part of it, like Corey said, and look forward to being part of more. So.
All right, Los, you got any final words?
I concur, same thing. Appreciate y'all time. Appreciate y'all putting me on tonight.
All right. Five, you got any final?
Nah. Y'all be cool. Y'all be cool. I ain't see you. You ain't see me.
All right, man. As always, man, follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MNFL_network. Follow us on Twitter at the MNFL. Follow us on YouTube, MNFL Sports One, MNFL Sports One. The links are on YouTube, on Twitter, and on our Twitch channel. So please follow us, subscribe, like, comment, and give us our feedback on how y'all like our streams. This will be up on YouTube probably tomorrow, so look out for that. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning. We're still working out the kinks, still trying to get this thing going, but at the end it was a good show. Appreciate everybody's time. All the people in the chat, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.
Peace, fellas.